You'll know if you should buy Gravelord in the next 47 seconds. Here's your TLDR. Gravelord is a glorious boomer shooter that calls back to a mashup of Quake, the first Unreal, and Serious Sam. It is fast, unapologetically difficult at time, and salts in just enough humor to keep things fast and loose without becoming saccharine. Level design is solid and punishes you for metagaming at times, although I did find myself getting lost on what to do next more than a couple times. That's likely on me, though, as I tend to turn my brain off with these types of games. Art and audio are on point. The lower res vibes sell the mechanics, and the audio, while repetitive at times, keeps enemy recognition fast and simple, even when you can't see what manner of undead or demonic critter is coming for that booty. At a launch price of $17.99 US or your regional equivalent, there is a grip of game for your money. You'll get 3 chapters of story mode, a map editor, and devs that have proven they know how to iterate and update the game. Now, if all you wanted was that TLDR, cool, I get it. Thanks for sticking around. Before you go, though, maybe hit the YouTube buttons and comment your favorite emoji. It shows the robots on the back end that this is a useful video and will push it to more people. Because I hate waiting until the very end of a video to get what I came for just as much as y'all do. And if you're new here, hi, I'm Squid. I cover primarily action and shooter titles with the occasional essay or gear review. And the rule here is maximum meaningful info with minimal reaction faces. I mean, there's only so much I can do with this, so I might as well lean in, right? So let's talk core gameplay loop. You know, what are you doing moment to moment and why is it fun? At its core, Gravelord is a fast-paced retro-style FPS that calls back to the days of screaming kamikazes, Strogg, and enough pixelated violence to make the director of the 1991 documentary Total Recall blush. Moment to moment, you'll fling yourself around the map to peek and dodge projectiles while turning the undead into re-dead and demons into D-don'ts, with all the gloriated pixelated gibs to go with it. The arsenal brings the standard fare, things like a shotgun, minigun, grenade launcher, as well as more varied and unique weapons, like a lightning gun and wand. Fatbot's spin on these also includes discoverable upgrades, which add alternate fire modes to each. You'll get piercing knockback for the shotgun, rounds that ricochet for the minigun, and a triple spread out of rockets for the grenade launcher, for instance. And while you'll get access to these as you progress through the game normally, those of you who are secret hunters get them a fair bit early. And speaking of secrets, there's grips of those in each of the levels I've played through so far. Some are comparatively simple to find, but I've not 100%ed any level yet, so there's definitely depth to explore here. Fatbot's other unique spin on the game is the deck system, where as you progress through levels, you'll encounter cards that upgrade your character or abilities, but some do come with costs. You can carry 3 at a time, so there's a little bit of tension in terms of, okay, do I really want to keep enemies dropping armor shards, or do I want fire damage over time on my bullets? It adds an extra layer of depth and player choice. The level design itself is solid, with the play space supporting your movement tools and gradual difficulty progression. Similar to the Dead Space series, the design actively punishes you for metagaming. And one time it spawned an enemy mid-air when I was trying to do a cheeky jump skip, or swapping an elevator's functionality to subvert your expectations. There were more than a couple times I was a bit stumped as to where to go next, but as I said in the TLDR, that's a skill issue correlated with how I tend to turn the thinky parts of my brain off while playing these types of games. I will make a note of some exceptions to the solid level design, in that the water levels I've encountered so far, I don't know anybody who likes water levels. In fact, that might be an easiest way ever to see if somebody's an alien or a pod person. Ask them if they like water levels in video games. If the answer is yes, straight to the wood chipper. Moving on to art, audio, and vibes. So let me say off the hop here, the art style will not be for everyone. Some folks prefer a bit more realism and higher resolution textures or models with more polys. That's fine. We each have unique tastes. In this case, though, I would encourage those folks to look past those preferences for this game in particular, because you'll miss out on something quite cool if you ride off the pixelated retro vibes. There's a refund window on Steam. Go try it, and if it's still not for you, hit refund. Do set a timer, though. It's easy for the game to eat far more time than you think. Sound design is good. The soundtrack is present but not obtrusive. Weapon and enemy sounds are retro-coded in the best way, and the entire thing does feel like a video game, but with the distinct impression that that's the vibe they're going for. Character voice work is on point, and the quips give a quick smirk without devolving into endless banter. Here, give the game a listen.
Hold on a bit. What don't I get to do with flintlocks like that little fella?
Now, as for performance and settings, I'm starting off with the settings menu here. There's a solid amount of customization on offer. FOV Slider goes to proper fisheye if that's your jam, and both motion blur and Desync are off by default, which is a nice touch. I'd like to see an option for supersampling on the resolution scale slider, but you can get around that by forcing things onto driver level if you want. All in all, I have no complaints about the tweakability of the settings menu. Performance-wise, I've also no complaints here. It stayed pegged to the 327 FPS reflex cap on my machine, no matter what manner of carnage was on screen. Now, this is a retro boomer shooter, and I'm running a 9800 X3D in 5090, so I'd be cranky if it didn't run well. But it is 2026, and we've seen far stranger things in gaming lately, so it bears mention. The game is built on Unity, and I did notice a couple instances of that Unity stutter, but nothing that rises beyond an initial, oh, it stuttered. Weird. I've not tested it on my OG Steam Deck, but a quick perusal of the internet seems to suggest that it runs well there, as well as the other handheld computer options floating around these days. Sound off in the comments with how it performs on your handhelds, or if your experience was drastically different than mine. As for friction points, I can really only think of a few spots. First, it's a boomer shooter. You move fast, you shoot fast, you die fast. And if that's not for you, this won't make you happy. And as I mentioned previously, some spots make it easy to miss the progression path if you're playing particularly fast and loose, so expect to engage both brain cells at least a little bit while you play. And beyond that, I'm sure some of the sound effects can get repetitive, and depending upon how your autosaves go, you can get yourself into unwinnable loops if you're exceptionally unlucky, but honestly, that's me looking for things to complain about. It's solid overall. And moving on to value for money and the Burrito Index, which, if you're not familiar, is where I contrast the price of a game to the enjoyment I'd get from an equivalent dollar amount of Al Pastor burritos. And let me reiterate what I said in the TLDR. There is a lot of game here for the launch price of $17.99 US or your regional equivalent. At 1.38 burritos, you'll get your money's worth easily if you enjoy fast-paced boomer shooters even a little. Usually they're not my jam, but I'd place this on even footing with the likes of Boltgun. Yeah, I know. That's silly high praise for a tiny indie studio. It's good. This game is for you if you like crisp shooting, breakneck speed, solid sound design, secret hunting, and like a little bit of 90s style humor in your games. Conversely, this game is not for you if you demand photorealism, dislike movement systems where you retain a bit of momentum after taking your finger off the button, or you hate the kind of fun where you just turn your brain off and vibe. The bottom line here is that I didn't expect to like this after my early impressions checking it out several months back. And this is one of those times I'm quite happy to be proven wrong. The devs cooked with Gravelord, and if they keep rebalancing and polishing some edges here and there, this will be a real gem. And if you made it this far in the video, the robots at the back end on YouTube think you'll also like the video over there. I've been Bald Squid. I'll see you next time.